We've got lots of really interesting questions this week. Let's get cracking. And the first one is from Rob Rutherford. Following the news of Rodri's ACL injury and him being out for the remainder of the season, does this now make Arsenal favourites to win the league? We're recording this on Tuesday morning, so it's not actually official from the club that Rodri has an ACL injury and he's out for the season, but it does appear that may well be the case. Let's hope it's not. Let's hope he's fit, because he's obviously a very, very special player, one of the favourites for the Ballon d'Or this season. It will be a huge blow to Manchester City.
Yeah, but it'd be a huge blow for him personally. I mean, I've been there. I've had that injury. I did it back in 1993, and as far as I'm aware, it's still a similar timescale of being out of football. You know, once you have the operation, it's anything between, I guess, 6 and 9 months. I was out for about 7 months.
Can I interrupt you, Alan, just for a second, just to explain to us what, because it often looks fairly innocuous, doesn't it, an ACL injury on the pitch? And sometimes even Rodri, we saw, didn't we, the weekend, walked off. But that's often the case. What does it feel like when you do an ACL injury, and what are the circumstances in terms of how you feel? Mine was
innocuous as well. I went through and just challenged for a ball with the goalkeeper, John Lukic, I think it was, when we were playing Leeds at Ewood Park. And it was just a normal challenge. I went up for a header and I came down and I landed very much and landed awkwardly like Rodri did. And I just, although it was painful, it wasn't in agony. You just felt something click or snap, or and I knew something was wrong, but obviously didn't know what was wrong. And I sort of could walk around, tried to jog around, and then eventually came off, and my knee sort of ballooned up. Didn't know the severity of it for a while, but I knew something was wrong inside the knee. And then you eventually get to see the specialist, and then I was confirmed I'd ruptured my ACL, and I was going to be out for around about 6 to 9 months. And from my point of view, I didn't feel any after effects. It was a long-term injury. It was boring going in every day and having the rehab, but in terms of me coming back, I felt as good as new. My knee, I've not had a problem with that right knee or that injury in the right knee ever since. So I'm guessing that once he has the operation, it'll be any time between that time frame, and he'll come back good as new. But it does also come at a time where he himself was saying that players are more susceptible to injuries now because of the number of games they're playing, and I just wonder whether that will be a big shove and a push to the people that it needs to, in terms of looking after the players and protecting the players.
I would just wanted to ask you, Al, you mentioned about it was boring, your mindset. What's it like? Because I don't know if you've seen some of the videos and images of Tyrone Mings. He lost a lot of muscle. What is that journey sort of back like? What sort of emotions are you going through?
Oh, it's tough, because a lot of the days you're coming into the training ground and the lads are already going out training, and then you're sat with a physio or the doctor, or they're doing your rehab. So much of my time was building up your strength in your quads, getting your balance right. Every day it was balance. It was working on the strength of your muscles and everything else. And then for days on end, for weeks on end, you're training on your own, and it's hard, because you can't play football. And then after, 3 or 4 months, you get a little chink of light, when you're back out on the grass. But then that drags on for the next month or two, because when that happens, you want to get a football involved, and then when you get a football, you want the contact and everything else. But it's a long road, But you eventually get back there. It is hard work, though.
And sorry, just another quick one before we move on. I know we've sort of spent a while on this question, but okay, the contact of then shooting the ball. How long before you get your confidence back?
Yeah, well, you get out on the grass and you feel the ball again, and then it's like a process. You build everything up slowly but surely, and then you feel more and more confident in your balance, and then you get the contact. You're back in tackling, which obviously is a huge part of is a huge part of Rodri's game. But for me, it was about scoring goals and feeling comfortable, and that burst of pace that I had. That was really, really important, that I felt I hadn't lost any of that. And that with that injury, because that was the first serious injury that I had, and I was 22, it was really important that I hadn't lost anything, And as I said earlier, there's been no problem with that injury or that right knee ever since then.
Well, that would be encouraging, particularly probably for someone like Rodri to hear if this is the injury that we suspect it is. It's a huge blow for Manchester City. Arguably the most important football they could lose, possibly with Haaland.
Yeah.
Either of those two would be huge. And that you can see the difference. I've got some stats here, actually. All competitions since 2019-20, without Rodri, 45 games have been played, and their win rate is 64%. With Rodri, 260 games played and a win rate of 73%. That's quite a big difference. And I think now it's 48 Premier League games on the run. Manchester City have not lost with Rodri in the side, and that's not coincidental.
Yeah, it's staggering. He's the best holding midfielder in world football. I think we all agree on that. I think it's been a little bit of a masterstroke getting Gundogan back in.
Definitely now.
And obviously didn't know Rodri was going to get injured. But just in terms of, people forget, they've still got Matheus Nunes, who they got from Wolves, who's a very good player. But in terms of the system that Man City want to play on the ball and the way they dictate play, sort of Nunes has not stepped up enough yet, with the games he's been given, and it's been difficult. But now we know Rodri can play number 6, he can play number 8, he can play in number 10. But it's a huge miss. It's not just his stature, it's not just his passing. He knows the tactical plan. He controls the tempo of football matches, and not a lot of players can do that. And if you see where he receives the ball, just when you think the opposing team is pressing and they're going to get the ball, Rodri just somehow managed to wiggle his way out, starts the attack for Man City, and they get out. So, yeah, I'm absolutely devastated for him. I think Al raises a great point in terms of the games. He's the one who passionately spoke about there's too many games, and then he goes and gets injured. So
the irony. Yeah,
it's a sad day for Man City.
It's a huge blow for him and for Manchester City. We've heard Pep say that no one can do in world football what he does. Yes, Man City, you've got some very good players to come in and replace him, but none of them can do what he does in football.
Yeah. They lost 4 out of 5 last season when he didn't play. Does this affect his chance of the Ballon d'Or? Because he's very much in the running.
Oh, it shouldn't do.
Shouldn't do, should it?
No, it shouldn't do.
No.
I mean, that would be really, really cruel if it did. But it shouldn't affect it at all.
But in answer to the question, yes, I think it makes it more balanced in terms of Arsenal's chances of winning. I don't think it makes them favourites, but I think it's 50-50 now.
Yeah. I wouldn't disagree with that. Let's move on, because there's lots of questions I want to get through. Chris Joyce asks, if there was one team in any era of English football that you could play for, which club and era would it be? He's got P.S. Alan, please say Manchester United, even if it is through gritted teeth.
Liverpool.
Yeah. Sunderland. All right, here's a quick question from me off the bat of that. If you had to sign for one, Manchester United or Sunderland, which would it be?
Neither.
You'd retire.
I'd take up fucking golf.
Crikey, any English football era? I don't know.
That Liverpool era with Dalglish and Rush and Hansen and Souness, and I think so.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That
was. I was quite happy in that Everton side I played with. I could have played with them forever. Way back in the day. Micah?
Invincibles, Arsenal side that season, they were just ridiculous. Imagine Big Meeks, Campbell, Torre, some proper leaders at the back.
I can imagine you'd play 3 games, you'd be on the bench, you'd be dropped.
You've done him a favour, 3, by the way.
I know. I want to be generous.
Hold on, I need 5 for a Premier League winners, man. At least give me 5.
All right, we'll give you 5, Micah. A couple of substitute appearances. Tommaso Scaravilli.
Well said.
Yeah, well, we don't know. It's probably nothing like that. Question for Gary and Alan. Sorry, Michael.
Oh, wow.
As strikers, could I have your opinion on Scalacci, the Juventus and Italy centre-forward, who was your opponent in the 1990 World Cup third-place final match, who passed away last week?
I was just about to say, well, you played against him, so you're
Not only did I play against him, Alan, just a few years ago, I went to Sicily, where he's from. And he's a hero there, and I went there to interview him for a series of documentaries we made about Golden Boot winners. And what a lovely, lovely guy he was. Incredibly enthusiastic, slightly flamboyant, massive star in that part of the world. Interestingly, having played against him, he scored 6 goals in Italia 90. He was the man of the moment. He didn't start in the Italian team. He was drafted into the squad quite late. He came on as sub in the first couple of games and scored, and then he became this big superstar. But you know how many goals he scored for the Italian national team?
Go on.
7.
Yeah, that because we did
Yeah,
something like that when we
it.
did the top 10 thing, didn't we?
That's right.
It was amazing because when he got drafted in, and then he wasn't even a starter, as you said, and then went away with those goals. Wow, it was amazing.
But he had a really good career elsewhere, and places like Juventus, and a fabulous, fabulous goal scorer and a wonderful man. It was a pleasure not only to play against him, although he picked me for the Golden Boot in 1990, but it was an absolute delight to spend a couple of days in his time. And he took us to a seafood restaurant on the front there in Sicily in the evening, and we had a little bit of the old local produce and wine, I should say, and we had a lot of fun. He'll be much missed.
Well said.
Well said. Yeah, and rest in peace. Toto, they called him, Toto Scalacci. Daniel Adams. Can you ask Micah what the difference is between a volley and half volley?
Oh my God! How
we
long
can't
we
go
got?
there again.
How long we got?
We can't go there
We
again.
can't go again.
Sure, no.
But I think we're in some sort of agreement.
For those that don't know, we disagree. Alan and myself have a certain vision of a volley, and Micah's has a different vision of what a volley is and what a half volley is.
Okay, can you explain quickly what you choose?
Yeah, well, a volley is quite clearly when the ball is above the ground, in the air, and you hit it first time. A half volley is when you hit it just after it bounces.
Just on the up.
Just on the up.
So what's that? So if it bounces, I don't know, 5 feet in the air, what is that?
That's a volley, Micah.
It's not. How can it be a volley? Are you not? How can it? So the ball comes. It comes over. I chest it down. I take a bad touch. The defender clears it. It bounces here. Say my
chest high,
and I hit that. That is not. How can that be a volley?
Is that a half volley when it's chest high? So what was Rooney's? What was his a half volley when it's chest high? The overhead.
I can't believe what I mean. I know we've been here before, but this is ludicrous. From two sharp shooters as yourself.
Who's ludicrous? Is he an Italian striker?
It is ludicrous. I can't.
Apparently there's a rapper called Ludicrous. That wasn't me that knew that, by the way. That was a younger person on my left.
I mean, let's just agree to disagree, shall we?
We'll never agree with that.
Agree. No.
A half volley's up here. What on earth are you talking about?
We've got a question from Derman Keenan. Who are you and the lads' favourite 3 non-footballing sporting stars ever?
Ooh, good question.
Non-footballing.
Ooh, non-football. Well, I'd definitely have Tiger Woods, Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
And maybe Michael Jordan, but I'd more of I don't know, I might go Gary Sobers.
Sir Gary Sobers.
Sir Garfield.
For those who don't know who Gary Sobers is, can you explain? I mean, what era are we talking here?
Oh, we're talking about 70s, really. And he was an all-rounder playing for the West Indies. Who it was slightly different all-rounder. Otherwise, someone like Botham, I'd nearly put Botham in. But Garfield Sobers was he was a brilliant batsman. He could also bowl pace and spin. Incredible all-rounder. Got a monster score. First man to hit 6 sixes in an over. I think the bowler was Malcolm Nash.
Good knowledge.
I might be wrong on that. That's testing me a little. Not necessarily if I'm wrong. But he was unbelievable. So go on. That's my 3. Who are you going for? I've given you time to think.
You'd have to go Tiger Woods, definitely.
Definitely Tiger. Love Tiger.
You got to have a boxer in there as well, no?
Well, I got Ali, didn't I? I mean, come on.
Ali,
man.
yeah, you'd have to have. I mean, you brought up in that with Muhammad Ali.
Go on, Micah. Name a couple.
I've got the same as you, Michael Jordan.
Really?
We've all seen the documentary.
Jordan, yeah.
I didn't know he was that good. He brought up on Chicago Bulls, don't you? Because of all the track suits and the tops when you're growing up.
I saw him play in Chicago once. I went to a game. Amazing.
Oh, did you? What was it? A playoff game or what sort of game?
No, it was just a kind of regular early season game. But
I'm going to say it's controversial.
Go on.
The best atmosphere at a sports event is the NBA in the playoff or playoff final. Unbelievable.
I've never been to the final.
Wow. It's electric from start to finish.
Yeah. But that wasn't the question we were asked.
Well, no, I mean, sorry.
So you got your last one?
So we definitely, are we all in agreeing on Muhammad Ali?
Muhammad Ali.
Tiger Woods 2.
Tiger Woods.
Got to be... I can't argue against that threat. The icons.
Micah, number 3.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
You're not going to go Tiger Woods because you don't know bugger all
No,
about
but what he did from the sport, even his documentary was really interesting, where he come from, the way his dad was with him, and then he was so talented from a young age. I respected what he did. So yeah, I don't mind a Tiger Woods shout.
Okay. Right, from Matt. PGMOL have confirmed that Trossard's second yellow was for kicking the ball away. There have been other incidents, 2 in this game, in about 20 since the red card of Rice, where the ball has been kicked away and no yellow card has been issued. How do we get consistency? You'll never get consistency. That's the answer to that question.
Oh, because what one person thinks that another person might not. Like a foul, one where you'll get a yellow card and next day you won't. I mean, the Doku one at the weekend, people were on about because Trossard got his yellow card and then Doku sort of... But I thought Michael Oliver was telling him to kick the ball back to where he felt the free kick should have been. And that's why he didn't get one then.
I sense a Micah rant coming here. Oh, I don't know. I just look at his face.
Yeah, you can see his head shaking.
No, I just... you know what? I agree. Alan, I thought you summed it up perfectly on Match of the Day. I thought you said... I thought you... The evidence you gave was brilliant. And I agree with what you're saying. But, in a big game, if you was playing in Newcastle, Sunderland, Derby, there are certain things you let go for bigger games. And I played in Manchester Derby as well. And you would have played in a North London Derby, Gaz.
Yep.
And there's certain things you let go in certain games. And I just believe to send someone off for that, I agree. The referees, this is not a sort of rant at the PGMO. I don't. They're doing a fantastic job. They're under pressure. I know it can be hard, but I'm just like, surely we can look at a game and think this needs just a little bit of common sense. If Trossard, and if you actually look at his foot action, he's gone to kick it, and he's sort of taking his foot away. So it's not like he's really wasting time. And I just think if we start giving... it got to a certain point a couple of seasons ago where people were staying down and people were diving. It was cheating. It was horrible. But to send someone off for a second yellow for that, I just think it's not really football, is it? It's like, it's petulance. It's, okay, warn him, say, if you do that again, you're off, you know?
Let me ask you this then. Do you think he could have been yellow carded for the stupid challenge after already being on a yellow card?
So if we have that argument...
he's done the challenge.
Yeah.
We're already on a yellow card. And then he's kicked the ball away. So I would say to you, well, hang on. And, by the way, 2 or 3 weeks ago, he's seen his teammate get sent off for something less than that. Which, I don't like the law either, right? I'm not saying that the law is it's a good law. I don't like it. I don't like people getting yellow cards for that. But if he's done that again after seeing his teammate do it 2 or 3 weeks ago, come on.
Yeah, it's a fair comment, but I just think the heat at the moment.
What I would say as well in the referee's defence over these things is that I think they're probably under pressure always now to get the technicalities of a decision. Everything in football now seems to have been written in stone. It's like, this is under these circumstances you do this, under these... Football's not that kind of game.
No common sense allowed, is there?
It's not that kind of sport. It's like we've lost our way. We've let the referees take over our game, and they do a good job on the pitch, administering the laws of the game. But they should not be the people defining the laws of the game. And I think therein lies the problem. And I think if we, went back to people that understand the game, that played the game, just drifting away from the school teacher approach of the way referees organise the laws of football, and that's it's not being particularly critical of any individual. But
well, the handball law is a great example of that. It's like, oh my goodness me,
it's ludicrous. There are so many different clauses and this and then,
No.
And then not only have the laws of the game, then you have the guidelines. I mean, what is that all about? The guidelines. And it's become absurd.
I know.
It's become absurd. But anyway, that's enough of a rant on that one. Here's a much more important question from Innocent. What is each of your favourite types of cheese?
Is that a serious question?
It's in here. It's. I think it's a really good question.
Well, you're the foodie. Come on.
Yeah, but I'm not really a cheese lover, to be perfectly honest. Although I definitely go. I like dry cheeses, and because I cook a lot, Parmesan. I love. I'm not a cheese. I don't like blue cheese or anything. I quite like a cheddar or obviously a red Leicester. Obviously. What about you?
Oh, I love a Edam.
Edam. Oh. Bit of Dutch cheese.
What's Edam? You've just Googled cheeses. What are you talking about?
I've just told you what it is, Micah. It's Dutch cheese.
Are you letting them get away with that nonsense? I love an Edam.
Anything. You must love a bit of an Edam cheese now and again.
Eaten Edam cheese.
When I've been in Holland.
It's true though, Alan. It's that's very distinctive green colour, isn't it?
No.
Oh, good.
You can't wind me up like that. I know my cheese shit, man. Come on,
Mike. Mozzarella or like a nice blue cheese, or what do you like, Micah?
I like Swiss cheese.
He's just fucking Googled it. I saw him.
Swiss cheese, that's a country, isn't it? Wait, any particular Swiss cheese?
The ones with holes in it.
Yes, that's the one. Enough. We'll move on to a football question from Dan. A Scottish football question, he says. What do you make of Aberdeen's start of the season under Jimmy Tellin? They've won 11 out of 11. They're joint top of the league and in a cup semi-final. Can you remember any other managers having a start like this? Well, they're absolutely flying, Aberdeen, since they brought him in. They've got Papa Gay, I think it is their top scorer. Can they maintain it? Have to wait and see. He does like playing a high press. I've caught a couple of their games.
Interesting, though, isn't it? At least there's something else, or someone else, or some other team that's challenging other than the big two. So that's good to see.
I'll be totally honest. I've only seen highlights of the games. I did a bit of research on him yesterday. Like you said, Gary, he wants to play attacking football, takes risks at the right times, free-flowing football. That is sort of his ethos. And I haven't seen him play live this season, so I don't want to lie to people. I've literally watched an hour of their football yesterday, and they do look impressive. Whether they can keep it going for the whole season, I'm not entirely sure, but it's a great start. And you know what happens? It's like the Leicester thing, isn't it? Once you win that many games, you get that confidence. You think it's sort of like Leverkusen last season, where they just go on a run, you start to believe. And good luck to them, because it'd be nice up in Scotland if they could shake it up a little bit, you know? We're always talking about Rangers and Celtic, so
exactly.
It'd be nice for Aberdeen.
It would be refreshing. It's the only thing is I can't ever remember Aberdeen producing a great manager before. I'm being ironic there. Obviously, that's where Sir Alex Ferguson started his epic rise in the managerial world. Question from Elliot Blanche. If you were at your peak, playing week in, week out for a top side, and Saudi came calling, offering you 4 times your salary, would you make the jump? He says at your peak, so the answer to that for me would be no.
No, hold on. It needs a little bit of context to this, guys. If you're at your peak and you've won 5 Premier Leagues, you've won the Euros, and you've won the World Cup.
Well, that's quite a big if.
That's why I need some context with it. If I was a Harry Kane in my peak and I'd still not won a trophy yet, no, I wouldn't be going. I'd want to play the best football
not
possible.
In your peak, no. Towards the latter 3 or 4 years of career, then I understand that. Get it. Got no complaints at all with anyone doing that. But in your peaks, no.
Okay. Question from JJ, presumably not JJ Okocha, although it could be, but then he wouldn't ask this question, I don't think. Question for Gary and Alan. I don't know why just Gary and Alan, because this should apply to all 3 of us. Although
maybe he just wants some sense spoken.
I think he's actually looking at, it's a slight subtle dig at Micah's career. It says, have you ever stopped giving your 100% by the end of a season, April time say, being afraid of getting an injury and not being called up for Euros or World Cup in the summer?
Wow! He just excluded me from the conversation.
That's
so
JJ,
basically, he's called me lazy and not good enough to play for England without even... Oh, wow. What's his name?
JJ, Jayjay, like a Okocha.
JJ, what a bellend. I'm joking. Yeah, I love JJ. I love you.
I think the answer to his question, though, is a conclusive no.
No, never.
No, I mean, you never think like that, do you, about avoiding injury? That's when you probably do get injuries. Yeah. And on that note, we're going to save ourselves for the Euros. That's it for this episode of The Rest is Football, our question and answer episode. Thank you very much for listening or watching. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.